What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host and captain, Garrett Morlang, and here in the studio with me is the one and only JJ Purdom.
It is a great and glorious day, folks. Just moments ago, right before we hit the record button, one of the most amazing things happened. Garrett crop dusted me, folks. I literally have pink eye in one eye now. I didn't know you had it in you, dude. Like, honestly, I'm kind of shocked. I thought you were more mature than that, but I'm not going to say that I don't feel like you're growing up, and I'm proud of you.
You're the worst. For anyone who's watched any of our previous content, more specifically some of our YouTube during the Halloween series, everyone knows that you have a history with that sort of thing. So
with calling you out on your farts.
You know what they say: if the shoe fits.
I'm not wearing shoes, just so you know.
That smells too.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're going to put those back on. That'd be cool.
I have a condition. You said you weren't going to tease me about it.
Well, you brought it up. How have you been? I'm
actually doing pretty good, man. I had a massage earlier today, and that was amazing.
Is that what that? Yeah, you should talk into the microphone.
Just
that helps
moments
people hear
ago, you said you're so loud. Like, back off a little bit. You got these things hot, and I know that's totally unlike me.
Yeah.
Earlier today, I got a massage, and it was totally awesome. But let me tell you, as somebody who's never actually
massage.
Right, and that's where I was going with that. As somebody who's never actually had a professional massage before, trust me, they do not like it when you say, "So how much for extras?" Yeah, they don't like that. There's no humor in that. Nobody sees that as me. I'm like, well, I'm funny. I have a podcast, and I say funny.
Don't tell them the name of our podcast.
I say funny things, and they're inappropriate sometimes. Okay, I'll leave. Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, actually, I had an awesome massage earlier today, and I feel a whole lot better. I've got a horrible, horrible back issue, mostly because Garrett and I work together, and I got to carry around his dead weight all the time.
Man, this whole beginning of the show has just been you tearing me down.
Well,
and to think, I let you be on my podcast.
Wait, whoa! This was months, or like a month of me being gone, and you saying that I was dead. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Well,
how could I rest in peace when you kept talking trash all the time?
Jesus does miracles. He brought you back from the dead. Hallelujah. Amen.
Yeah, I admit I don't look very lively. I am kind of a little paler than I used to be.
Yeah.
And apparently, it looks like I've had a facelift.
Yeah, I know. We've had people comment in the Discord saying is how great JJ looks, and if only they could see you in person.
Yeah, you have no idea. When I take my shirt off, it looks like I had a pack of puppies recently, like a whole litter. It's not good.
That's all the special effects I do in Premiere and post edit.
I
do a lot of post makeup on JJ.
Not even a lie. Like, literally, I told him recently, like, dude, I look like the Undertaker. My skin is like super white. Is there anything you can do? And he's like, there's not a lot I can do. But he did go in and change a few hues and made it to where I didn't look quite so white anymore.
I changed the white balance on the camera a little bit so we didn't, because at one point you're like, oh, we're way too red. It looks like I'm like drunk, wasted right now.
Right. And at one point he did make me a little yellow, and we were kind of concerned that it looked like a little bit of a jaundice thing going on.
Yeah.
And then he made an inappropriate coronavirus joke, and that's still a little too fresh. You probably shouldn't do that, Garrett.
No.
You're welcome. I'm like the moral compass of this show.
Yeah, okay.
What?
Well, what do you...
Would you like to be our moral compass? Do you know how you can do that? You could do that by supporting us on Patreon and keeping us right along the straight and narrow path.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I was like, boy, we should get into the housekeeping. And I looked over at our time clock, and it says we've been recording for 27 minutes. And I'm like, that's not true. We just started the show. That's because I hit record about 27 minutes ago, and then JJ goes off on his tangents.
See, and for extra money, you guys can find out exactly. You could probably actually see him lifting cheek and farting. We got some extra content. We'll sell you another Patreon tier.
Everything before this gets deleted. Trust me.
That's in.
Think back about 10 minutes of some of the things you just said. Do you want me to release that?
No.
Okay.
No.
That sounds good to me too. So yeah, if you haven't already, go check us out, patreon.com/supergamerboys. You can go support us over there, just like our lovely sponsors did. Bill Bird, Julie Bates, and Dustin Long. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for all your lovely support at the sponsor level. And the rest of you guys do awesome work at some of those lower tiers. If you didn't know, for just $1 a month, you can get the episodes early. Tonight after we finish recording, I do a quick edit, drop the MP3, put it up on Patreon. You can be listening to the episode tonight. So that is Monday night. So support us at just $1 a month. You can get that. Sweet.
Cool.
It's a sweet deal.
I don't know how any of that MP3 stuff works. Basically, he turns the microphones on. I say a bunch of inappropriate stuff, and then I leave. And when I leave, I say goodbye to Garrett so he can stay for the next 2 to 3 hours while he edits and tries to clean up some of the...
A lot longer than that, trust me.
Right. Yeah, I know. I got the PG&E bill. I can tell. But I love you, man.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked them out already as well, go please take a look. The HP Video Game Podcast Network. You can look it up on Twitter, or if you go to the iTunes app on your phone, if you have an Apple phone. If you have an Android, well, then you're crap out of luck. But HP Video Game Podcast Network, there's a ton of awesome shows, like the HP podcast. I think there's the OK Game. I always forget the name of theirs. I downloaded
the Pretty OK Gamers. There's also the one. Life and Times of Video Games. There's the Super Best Friends Gamer Video Game Sleepover, Sleeping with Your Cousin podcast or something. I mean, there was something about incest, wasn't it?
Something like that.
There was something.
Super Best Friend Video Game Sleepover podcast. Yeah,
I think you're missing the cousin sleeping. That was in there somewhere.
Okay,
pretty sure.
I'll let them know you think that. Maybe they'll change the name just for you. But yeah, there's a lot of awesome podcasts over there.
And they have not thrown us off. They haven't thrown us off the network. I don't think they listen to our show, to be perfectly honest.
It must be a pretty cool network if we're on there. So,
it's true. It's true.
It's the best of the best, cream of the crop over there. And then also go check us out, supergamerboys.com/Discord. You can join the conversation throughout the week. We like to chit chat about what we've been playing. If something crazy happens in our life, or JJ has a dumb joke that I have to delete off the Discord so no one sees it or doesn't see the light of day.
You did delete that joke that I put on. I knew you did. I knew it. I knew I made a post and it disappeared. It disappeared. Yeah. Okay, Garrett, I'm watching you.
I can neither confirm nor deny whether I deleted that post or not.
Well, I'm just dumb enough. I just reposted the same joke.
Yeah.
That's how I roll.
And unfortunately, I couldn't delete it because he was sitting here next to me. So
watching him like a hawk.
Man, I have no idea how long the show is going to be because the time clock's all jacked up. So it could be a really short show. It could be a really long show. We will see.
We'll see what we got. But if you haven't already, do go check us out on Discord because there's been some amazing, really fun banter back and forth with us and the listeners. And we're both really involved in it. And I've been trying to be really intentional about being involved in it because I'm really worried about what Garrett says behind my back. And I just don't trust him anymore. You know, it's one of those kind of friendships.
There was a long time when it was just the Wild West on the Discord. It was just me and 2 other people. And we talked all sorts of crap about JJ.
Yeah.
And then JJ showed up.
Yep.
And we had to zip our lips.
All of that stuff.
And now there's more than 2 people on there too. Like last week. For the last couple of weeks, it's like blown up. So
it really has, and we appreciate that.
So come join us because we're having a blast over there. It's a lot of fun, and the more the merrier. Like the more conversations. I don't know. I'm down. I love hanging out with you guys all day, every day.
Yeah, the Super Gamer Boys channel on Discord has truly been changing lives. It has been changing lives, folks, because it's a movement.
Okay. And
I don't mean like one of Garrett's like really weak bowel movements. No, I mean like a movement in a generation. There's only like one of them every generation. Hashtag Garrett's Nipples. And it is taking the nation by storm. So folks, go on to social media, whether you use Instapot, whether you use Bookface or my book. Is it MySpace? MySpace.
Yeah, that one's still around.
Any of those things. You just go on there, hashtag, that's the £sign for some of you people from the Great South. And you just want to go ahead and put the £sign, hashtag Garrett's Nipples. It's a movement.
Okay. You done?
Okay. I got more. I'm done for now.
Okay, cool.
We'll come back to this. We'll repeat it at the end of the show.
I'm sure we will. What do you say? I think it's time for some nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy news.
Alrighty. First item on our little list here. Well, it was a little list. I added a couple stories because a couple of those stories became obsolete. I was like, oh, we'll talk about this next week. And then
Yeah.
then the thing that we were going to talk about, that you speculate about, happened. But anyways, here we go. 2 stories here, back to back. PS5 rock block. First one, PS5 controller. Get this. I added this one. I didn't even tell you about it. I just added this one now. So this is going to be fresh for JJ.
Okay.
PS5 controllers will monitor your sweat to change games on the fly. How does that hit you? Just with a headline, quick, like, how does that make you feel?
I'm not very comfortable with that because I am super sweaty hands. Hey, dude, I think all of us, when you really get into a good game, and maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but when you're really into a game and you're in a tough spot, who the heck doesn't have their hands sweating like crazy? When you're really into it and you're like, oh man, I got it. And then you keep dying and you keep trying again, like you do all the time when you're playing video games, you'll keep dying over and over and over again. And then you die again and again and again.
Right.
And then some more, you keep dying because that's what you do.
Right.
And then, don't your hands sweat, Garrett?
No.
Okay, so it's just me then. Okay, I think I have an issue then with some of my glands.
So here we go. This is over on Tom's Guide. This is a strange website I've never heard of until just a couple weeks ago. But Tom's Guide, this article is by Richard Priday. I think they spelled Friday wrong. But the PS5 has been expected to get a lightly updated version of the DualShock controller with some new haptic feedback features. But the discovery of new designs has revealed that the PS5 controller could offer a lot more than that. Respawn First via Games Radar found a patent made by Sony and okay, so obviously take all this with a grain of salt. The next 2 articles, because they're just based off of patents and companies file patents all the time.
Absolutely.
And they don't necessarily turn into anything. But it's still interesting to know that they even thought about it in the first place. Like, what if we did this? Let's patent that just in case.
Yeah.
So February 2018 and published by the USPTO on February 20th, detailing a biofeedback sensor for a controller. The illustrations from the patent included below show how these sensors would partially or fully cover the front and back of the controller's handles. The patent also considers button-mounted sensors too, so it's tracking your thumbs as well. These sensors would either slide onto the controller's handles or slide onto the controller's handles or then be fastened with something else like Velcro and then connect to the DualShock's rear micro USB port. So it's like an attachment. So it's not actually built in the controller. It's talking about like an attachment essentially, which sounds bizarre. Like imagine sliding these like little controller condoms on there that detect your sweat.
That's kind of an interesting way to put it. Yeah, they're basically prophylactic. So you place over the handles. I think it's weird. I don't think it's a necessary thing. I think that a lot of the stuff that they're coming up with that we've already seen that they're coming up with for the new DualShock looks really great. This is one of those things that's like, okay, I think we're trying to like beat a dead horse. There's enough new features and everything else, the haptics, a lot of like the rumblings and everything, all the other stuff that's coming out with the new DualShock. It's great the way that it is. It doesn't need something like this. This is silly.
Yeah.
Do you really want to put something extra onto the controller in order to be able to, for it to sense your sweat? How is that going to enhance your gameplay?
Well,
how is it going to make you, Garrett, finish any games? It's not.
Let me finish the story, and maybe we will find out how it might affect games. The sensors would then measure electrodermal activity, which can tell the processor how sweaty your hands are in response to a stimulus in-game. The patent also suggests using other sensors that could extrapolate a player's responses, such as heart rate. The information would then be sent to an output unit via USB cable or Bluetooth, where it would then process the information into a format that developers could then work with. This could perhaps rank the intensity of a fear response to a horror game and tailor the experience accordingly, interpreting with which choice a player wants to make when met with a branch in a game's narrative. So I honestly... that sounds kind of cool. Like if you're playing like a horror game and it's detecting like your heart rate, like and everything, like keeping track of your heart rate, keeping track of like how much you're sweating, how you're reacting to things, and either
so you're saying it's going to ramp it up or pull back based on where you're at.
Exactly. Depending, it'll probably ask you beforehand, like, hey, do you want us to do this, like pull back, or just like lean all in, or just like let us, give us fair game. And like I would be like 100% just scare the crap out of me. Like,
See, and I would say that I think it would be fine option if it was a feature that was already built in. But as far as like putting excess gear or equipment onto the DualShock with Velcro or any of that kind of stuff, I don't think that's necessary. I think that would be cumbersome and crappy, and I think it would take away from the gameplay. I don't know how comfortable something like that would be. I mean, they'd probably put it together fairly well.
I mean, if it was like, because they make like rubber grips and skins for that go over your controller already. Like, I'm sure it would just be something like that. It probably would connect to the controller a lot easier than what they're making it sound like in this article. Like, I'm sure it would just be like a little rubber grip with two little metal strips in it. And those metal strips would detect your heart rate and sweat, and that's it. And then, it'd probably be pretty simple. Like it's.
I would short that sucker out.
Yeah,
and you got to imagine that some people, not all, but some people have gland issues, and maybe they sweat a little more profusely. It's been one of the great things of my life, actually, and I mean that. It actually has been, because a lot of times when you're obese, you sweat extremely easily, and people look at you and then feel sorry. There's a lot of guilt involved. Look at that little fat guy go. He's just working so hard. No, he just sweats when he breathes, man.
Jeez. Yeah, so I don't know. It's totally crazy. It's totally unnecessary, but I just thought it sounded really cool. Like, it sounds kind of fun. Like, in my head too, like immediately going to like, imagine playing like Alien Isolation, which was a fantastic like horror game.
It still is. It still is a fantastic game. I think it came out on the 360 and PS3 era, and they ported it over to like PlayStation 4
and Xbox One. Yeah, and it's so good. If you haven't played Alien Isolation, please go play it. It's so stinking good. Like, imagine like being chased by the alien or hiding in a locker, and it detects your heart rate, and by using your heart rate, it can detect like maybe it makes a little noise in the game. Like if your heart rate's like really beating, like in real life, maybe it'll like make your character like shuffle a little bit in the locker, maybe like take a like gasp or something, and like kind of give your position away. I'm like, oh, I'd be so you really have to control your heart rate in order to like hide from this thing. Like stuff like that would be so cool. I don't know.
In case you guys were wondering, I beat that game. Can't say the same for Garrett, but I beat it.
Yeah, that's a lie.
I could have very well. You don't know that.
I beat the game and I passed it off to you because I said how amazing it was, and you got like 10 minutes into it, you're like, it's making me car sick or whatever you said. I
don't recall that. I might have said that.
You can't handle the first person games. JJ's a big wimp.
Oh,
he gets motion sick.
Okay, technically that might have happened. Technically, I mean it's like a very small technicality. Yeah, there might have been some. Well, sometimes first person is a little too real for me. It's just I'd rather be doing games third person, kind of like how I talk about myself. And I'm like, well, what would JJ do in this situation?
Right.
Well, JJ says, go ahead and make yourself lunch, kids. I love everything in third person.
Let's see. This next story about the PS5 controller, also another patent kind of design that was found just a few days ago. This comes from Games Radar. Alex Avard over there writes this. PS5 controller could feature wireless charging, according to new DualShock patent. The latest PlayStation patent has given us another potential look into the design of the PS5 controller, the DualShock 5, which may allow for wireless charging via the use of an attachable adapter when playing PS5. As originally discovered by Segment Next, Sony filed a controller patent with the World Intellectual Property Organization in the summer of last year, and the full document is now available for public viewing, complete with pictures and a detailed description of the product itself. The patent describes Sony's plans to develop a wireless charging adapter that can snap onto a computer game controller, can be inductively coupled to a charging base to wirelessly recharge a battery in the controller. The adapter also can include keys that mirror keys on the controller so that the gamer can remove the adapter with controller. The charging base, I don't know where this is going. It's kind of like keep the adapter on the controller and use both the controller keys and adapter keys to control a computer game. Oh, so it's like a peripheral almost. So not only is it this, a thing that attaches to the back of the controller and gives it wireless capabilities, but I think it's saying like you can actually like by like pulling it and taking it on and off and stuff, like you can do in-game stuff with it. Like it's like almost, I don't know, think like a not Toys to Life. I don't know. I just feel like it's like one of those gimmicky like peripherals for a controller.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
This is one of those rare articles that you sent over to me and you were like, hey, let's try to be prepared for the show this week.
I didn't send this one to you. This is the one I came up with just 5 minutes ago.
Well, hold on. Okay. This is one of those rare things that I actually looked up. I actually saw this thing. That's why I'm surprised. I actually thought that was in our stuff.
Oh, no.
So like
added it.
I actually read this article or one very similar to it about the charging.
Okay.
I could have sworn you sent this one to me.
Oh, maybe
But okay, so I actually read this and I got to tell you, I really like that idea.
I like the wireless charging aspect for sure.
For sure. And I don't know about the other
thing. Yeah, the whole peripheral thing, it doesn't really make sense to me either.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But the other stuff, the reason I like the idea of the wireless charging deal is if you only knew how many dual shocks we've gone through where in taking a cord, the HDMI cord, the USB cord and plugging into the micro USB of the back of the controller, we've had such a hard time with those working. Now I've got the docks that it sits in, and actually the dock that I have broke. I was able to take a pin out of it, and now they just sit in the cradle, and they both charge, but they have to sit in there perfectly. And just stop.
I don't understand I've had my DualShock 4s for what, like 6 or 7, 8 years. Never had any.
Would you like an answer to this? And I'll give you an answer to the reason, the existence of children above the age of 2 that touch your stuff and don't know what they're doing and just jack your stuff up. It's coming. It's coming. No. Right now, you're blessed with one young one that listens when you call them. He never yells at you and tells you to get out. He never does that move where he smacks you and you where he backhands you and you keep your face turned the other direction. I've got 3 of them, okay? A 16-year-old that tells me to get out of her room, and I'm like, but I paid the bills. And she just yells, and I just go, yes, ma'am, and I leave. And then an 8-year-old boy who never lets me play the PlayStation that I bought. I bought that thing, me, with my money. And he just punks me out for it all the time. And then my 4-year-old, she's almost 5, and even she's like, my turn on the PlayStation, Dad, I'm going to play Fortnite. I'm like, I just want to play some Far Cry. Please let me. And then she's taken to start slapping me when I walk into the room now. You wait. They destroy everything. They destroy everything. You watch. Wait till you have your second one, little JJ Jr., because that's what he said he was going to name him after me. Oh, you said it on the podcast.
I did not say that. Definitely did not say that.
You can't take that. There's no take backsies in name. I mean, because I feel like you kind of got to now. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I'm your best friend in the whole world.
I don't know.
I am your best friend.
Maybe the voice in your head said that, but I have never said that. I'm sorry.
I am your best friend, Garrett. You have no other friends but me.
Anyone can find the audio clip where I said I was going to name my next child JJ Jr. Send it to us.
I will literally pay money if you can take his mouth and then put my mouth over it.
I shouldn't have said it this time.
I'm going to name my child.
They have the sound clip now because I just said it, so now they can just superimpose it earlier in an episode or something.
Make it happen.
Oh no!
I just feel like, look, I do have, my son has my name, and then there is that, and then of course my nephew was named after me too, my little brother. But I feel like one more. Well, no, none of them are JJ. That's why I think we'll just name your boy JJ Jr. And dude, you imagine?
It's just not a good name.
That's biblical. That's a biblical
Junior.
JJ Junior.
Junior.
In the back of the Bible, it's one of the back books back there by Leviticus James.
Anyways, back to this controller having wireless charging. You never answered my question, but
what was your question? I'm sorry.
My controllers charge just fine because my cables, I haven't had any issues because I know how to plug them in and out.
Because you lovingly and slowly plug them in. Oh, they're charging now. Okay, I'm going to set them down and I walk away. As opposed to a kid who comes over and just grabs it and yanks it off the charger and just jackals with the thing and it's not working. You're putting it in upside down. Stop doing that. Slamming it onto the charger. They do that. I swear they do. I might have done it once or twice.
Not my kids.
Oh, it's happening.
Not my
I wish
kids.
this on you now. I wish this on you now because right now Shep is like so into you and quiet and like he's such a good kid. He's a beautiful kid. But I'm telling you, once another one comes into the thing, and then when mom's paying too much attention to the new JJ Jr., and then, Shep's going to be pissed, man. I'm telling you, this is what happens. Any of you, please comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. Reach out on Discord, on any of the social media platforms. Tell him what he's getting himself into because he just laughs. Oh, JJ, you being JJ again. No, his life's over. Just seriously.
Now, so here's a difference, though, because you didn't have video game consoles until just a couple years ago. You
Right.
introduced this into your family late. My child has been already, I took him to GameStop with me the other day, and I wanted to look around the store, so I handed him a Nintendo Switch in the store and let him play Mario while I went. He's 2.5 years old. He was playing Mario Odyssey while I was looking around GameStop.
Oh,
He's
wow.
just like chilling there on the Switch. He wasn't doing it. He was just running in circles or whatever. But
Yeah.
so
That's how I play.
So yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. You
You don't have to
you
say
didn't. You didn't have to say it on the podcast either.
I know.
you know.
They know too.
They know.
Right. Yeah.
But no, I think it'll be different in my household. It'll be different because
2 years from now, guaranteed, right here on the show, he's gonna say, "Oh man, you were right, JJ. You were right." And I relish that moment. I look forward to that. That's gonna be the biggest blessing of my whole life.
yeah, we will see. But yeah, wireless charging. Please bring it to controllers because it'd be so nice just to be able to
It really will.
have a mat like the size of this mouse pad just up next to the TV, and you just go put my phone down, my phone's charging, my controller's charging, my Apple Watch is charging, my other controller's charging.
Interesting. I actually understood it to be something where you place the controllers on top of the PlayStation, that there will be areas on top of the PlayStation 5.
It doesn't say that.
That's actually in another article that I read where there was going to be sections on top of the PlayStation itself where you can place the controllers on them. That there will be room for 2 controllers to be placed on there that will be the charging ports.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's in another article.
Okay, at least this one here, according to the patent that these guys read, so maybe it's another patent, but this patent says there's just going to be, you can just use a charging base, which is in order to wirelessly charge the battery in the controller.
Which is going to help because, that thing that I said about the micro USB plug-in charger, yes, you've never done it, but honestly, a lot of people have had issues with those.
Oh, no, I have issues with it every time. It's always one of those things where I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's the right way. Boom, doesn't fit. I flip it. Boom, doesn't fit. Look at it. I had it right the first time. Boom. It always takes 3 tries. I've never gotten it the first try. It's always 3 tries every time.
Why is that?
It's a pain. But even wireless charging would be amazing. But they've already talked about the next gen controllers are going to have USB-C anyways, which you can plug that in anyway, no matter what it goes in.
Yeah.
So even with that, that's gonna be so amazing to have that.
Okay. So I actually missed that. So it's going to be
for Xbox One, they've confirmed it. They haven't said anything about the DualShock 5, but it feels like
you think it's going that way. I mean, because that's what the Switch has.
That's what the Switch has. The Xbox Series X has gone that way. All the iPads are everything for PC is going that way. Everything's going USB-C.
I think that it'd be a lot sturdier.
I think
it'd be a whole lot sturdier because the other ones they don't work so well. And they do break very easily with taking them in and out and all that kind of stuff. They just get weakened.
Yeah, I feel like if Sony doesn't have it, they've really done messed up because not only with USB-C is it easy to just plug in, it's stronger, like you said, and there's way more power that can run through that, so they can charge a controller in half the time. So instead of waiting a couple hours for a controller to charge, well, maybe 30 minutes, it's at 75% or something. Okay, boom, ready to go.
Cool.
I don't know. We'll see. We will see.
Well, we'll look forward to it because Garrett is definitely getting me a PlayStation 5 for Christmas.
Definitely not. So here we go. Here's an article from Ars Technica. Kate Cox over there writes, GDC. Okay, before I get into this, we talked about Sony and Facebook. I think we talked about someone else dropping out of GDC last week. Well, throughout the week, there was even more chaos. So GDC postponed to later in 2020 amid coronavirus cancellation. So here's the list. So this is crazy. This is unheard of. Like they're moving an entire conference. Granted, this isn't like a PAX. This isn't like an E3. GDC is designed for developers. It's for like companies like EA and Sony and Microsoft, all these people, Naughty Dog, whoever. They all show up, and it's basically a job fair. Looking like they're sharing all the information they've learned. Like, hey, this is some cool technology that we found. Maybe you can implement it in your game. Like Hideo Kojima was going to do a talk on the technology of Death Stranding to help other game developers. So this isn't like a big fan event, but this is unprecedented to have like a big gaming event.
Yeah. So it's not been canceled outright. It's actually being postponed.
But it was postponed because here's a list here. Amazon said they weren't coming. Epic Store said they weren't coming. Unreal Engine wasn't coming. Facebook and Oculus weren't coming. Microsoft wasn't coming. Sony's not coming. Unity's not coming. According to this, okay, this graphic was from February 28th, which was Saturday. Yeah. And so the only people left were Google, Intel, and NVIDIA. And I think even they later on were just like, yeah, we're not coming. But yeah, as of 7 p.m. Eastern on Friday, February 28th, GDC has thrown in the towel after close consultation with our partners in the game development industry and community around the world. The organization writes in an update, we've made the difficult decision to postpone the Game Developers Conference this March. We're genuinely upset and disappointed not to be able to host you at this time. The organization fully intends to host a GDC event later in the summer, about which it will provide more information in the coming weeks. Registered participants with GDC 2020 passes will receive emails regarding next steps about receiving refunds, and participants who booked hotel reservations through the GDC hotel portal or GDC room blocks, blah, 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 will not have to pay penalties. It says here, much of the content from GDC, including many of the presentations that would have been given live, as well as the Independent Games Festival and Games Developers Choice Awards, will either be uploaded to the free section of the GDC Vault or made available live streaming on Twitch, GDC added. So some people are still going to do their presentations. It's just going to be uploaded online or streamed live or something like that.
So this coronavirus has really taken off. And I know we recently made some comments on here, not poo-pooing it or anything, but we just felt like it's become this thing where everybody's worried about it. And we feel like they shouldn't be as worried about it as they are. But,
and I even want to clarify that further because, we had some people in the Discord bring some stuff up. It's not that I don't think it's a big deal because, the person who mentioned the Discord even said, like, if my kid got the regular, if my kid got coronavirus, like, I'd be freaking out. And I was like, yeah, like, no, 100%. If my kid got the regular flu, I'd be freaking out too.
Sure.
Like, sickness is not great. So what we kind of talked about last week of the coronavirus, I don't want people to think we don't think that it's not like or that it's bad. Because if my kid,
we realize it's serious.
If my kid got even the regular flu, I'd be losing my mind. Like if my kid got sick, like that's not great. Like, but I guess what we were trying to get at last week was that people are acting as if, I think my exact words were like, this is like the end of the world.
It's tube neck. It's it's Captain Trips coming. It's
this is like this disease is like the disease that end all diseases kind of thing. And I don't know, some of the numbers are just like
healthy people are just mildly sick.
Right. Well, healthy people are like knocked the heck out, but it's like they're recovering from it. It is like the young kids and so that's even what we didn't talk about on last week's episode was I realized I'd never really touched on it, but like some of these people who are coming, it's just like you're not bringing your kid, you're not, and I'm sure some of these people, I'm not saying all of them don't have kids, but it's pretty normal in the gaming industry for people not to necessarily have kids or families. So, not to put too much of a blanket statement out there, but I know some of the people I follow on Twitter, in the gaming industry are either not even married. And if they are, they definitely don't have kids. So it's just like, okay, it's crappy to get sick, but if your only worry is like for you to get it and maybe your wife or something to get it, as long as you're healthy, like, I guess that's what I was getting at. But not to poo-poo it. The disease is still bad news, but
it's like apparently up to 3,000 people have died from it. And there's been 5 cases in Washington State recently of people dying. Yeah. So it sucks. We don't want to see anybody be sick or ill with it. We hate to see things like this get postponed or even outright canceled. WrestleMania is coming up fairly soon at the beginning of April, and even that is questionable. It's still on for now, but they've got people coming from all over the world, and usually have 70 to 80,000 plus people come to the event, and even they are kind of like, hey, as of right now, it's a watch and see thing. So people are absolutely concerned, and there's a lot of travel of people coming from all over the world to come to that event.
Right. So, but the reason I wanted to bring up this article is it's crazy that they actually canceled GDC and they're going to postpone it. We'll see if it even happens again. Because that's the other thing. A lot of people are even speculating like the spread of the coronavirus could get worse before it gets better. Mm-hmm. Like it could get, a lot crazier, a lot more widespread. Because even now it isn't that widespread. Like the last article I saw, I don't even think, the last number I heard, I'm trying to remember what day that was. It was sometime over the weekend. So yesterday or the day before, there's only like 50 confirmed cases in the U.S. So out of like the millions of people who live in the U.S., that's not very many. Mm-hmm. But again, like over the next couple of months, I'm sure that can exponentially grow pretty quick, especially the way this disease works. But so, the reason I want to bring it up too is how do you think, because I've heard a lot of kind of speculation and thoughts on other podcasts and reading other articles. Do you think there's a chance E3 gets canceled this year?
What date is it planned for right now?
It's usually the first or second. I think it's usually the first week of June or something like that. First couple of weeks.
I think it's still too early to tell. I think that we'd have to get into halfway through April before anything like that. Before we make that kind of decision.
That's only 4 months. Like it's not that long. Like I don't know. In my head, like I could totally see E3 dropping out because if it's only if
it's not like Sony goes.
Exactly. So if Sony's already not going. And then imagine like Xbox being like, no, we're not going to be there either. And Nintendo like not going to be there. And then like some of these other names that, dropped out of GEC, Amazon, Google, Unity, Facebook with Oculus, like all these big names, like they start dropping out. That's going to be a big deal like that. And then if it does get canceled, do you think it's like, is that the nail in the coffin for E3? Because it's already been on its last legs the last couple of years. I don't know. This is all stuff that I've heard other spepeculation about. I'm just curious what you...
Yeah, I really hope not because I look forward to E3 every year. I know one of our hopes was that we, as Super Gamer Boys, would be going to E3 at some point in the future. So I don't want to see it die. I think that anytime there's an event like that is looked forward to and the new stuff is brought out and there's excitement built into it, I'd hate to see it get killed. Mm-hmm. So... would this be the thing that kills it by being postponed for a couple of months or outright canceled?
I think it'd be canceled, if anything.
I think it'd be hard to come back from it, honestly.
Yeah. That's my thoughts exactly. I was just like, I don't know. I feel like it'd be pretty much done. And then something else I've heard people speculate about too is with, coronavirus kind of ravishing China right now. That's where a lot of the hardware for technology is made. This isn't hypothetical anymore. There is a very real possibility the PS5 and Xbox One Series X gets delayed, gets postponed. If they can't make those pieces and parts, what are they going to do?
Can the same be said for Sony for PlayStation 5? Are their parts also being manufactured?
Yeah, no, everyone's parts.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I believe their parts are getting made over there as well. So, isn't that going to also affect them at the same time?
That's what I just said. I said PS5 and Xbox One Series.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah.
I didn't really listen when he talks.
Yeah, I know.
I catch every other word, every 3 words.
Yeah. But no, that's a very real possibility that they both get delayed, which would be insane. I hope that doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. But at this point, most of those deaths, I forget the number you said of deaths, but
3,000.
Most of those have happened in China.
Yeah.
I would say
2,700 or so.
2,800. Maybe a very high number of them have, happened there because that's kind of where it started. And
it's taken off in other countries like Iran and stuff like that. Right. Have really blown up as well.
But and I know factories have been shut down now for a month or so since the disease really got bad. They're shutting stuff down. So
and you got to imagine what that's doing to China and what that's doing to their economy. It's decimated.
I can't imagine.
Because, think about it from a perspective of a small company. I don't know if we've talked about this on the show or not, but if it was a small company our size that we work for, there's only a few of us that work for the company. If we were shut down and not able to go out and produce and make money, it wouldn't take very long for us to have to close doors, and we'd be out of work.
Yeah,
so
probably a month we'd be done. And
Yeah.
to think like some of the companies, some of the factories in China have already been shut down for like a month now.
Yeah.
Like obviously they're a lot bigger companies than us, but
Maybe their government will help them with some types of bailouts, or I don't know. I can't speak for the whole country of China. I wish I could, because it would be hilarious. Hey everybody, my name is JJ. I'm now in charge. Okay. Could you only imagine JJ is running China? Hashtag Garrett's nipples.
Dang it.
No, they had no basis.
I just wish for 2 seconds we could just stay on task and have a halfway decent conversation, and then you just bring it back to that.
You know what? I felt like we were kind of being serious.
Yeah.
And then you had to go and jack it up with your inappropriate joke.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, GDC is postponed. E3 possibly canceled. At this point, no one knows about E3, but I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. The next news story is another two-parter, because it basically kind of answered itself. We will see. We still have, it's Monday. We still have 5-6 days left in the week. But last week, 3 days ago, this comes from Games Radar, Austin Wood over there. Kojima Productions is teasing something for next week. They put out a tweet by Aki Saito, who is the head of communications at Hideo Kojima Studio, posted a message on Twitter to fans February 28th. Sorry to be silent, everyone. I've been really busy lately. I think I can say more. And it says, I've been really busy lately, ... I think I can say more soon about what we are going to ...
Wow.
Very cryptic. And then there's a photo included, which shows him in front of a desk on a phone, writing on a Post-it note. Obviously, the first thing everyone does on the internet.
Blow up the Post-it note. See what's on it.
Everyone's zooming in.
No, are you serious?
They zoomed in first. So here we go. Here's the conspiracy theory that the rabbit hole that people went down last week. First of all, it says, sorry to be silent, everyone. That's an interesting choice of words, because there's a million other words you could have used, like quiet. Sorry for being so quiet. Sorry for not, I don't know. Sorry to be silent, everyone. Then, I just clicked on it. I didn't mean to click on it.
Is it Silent Hill?
Then people went and zoomed in on the pencil, and apparently the brand of the pencil is Pyramid, which, if you know from the Silent Hill series, there's the pyramid head creatures, monsters.
Oh, wow.
And then if you zoom in on the Post-it note, for some reason it's not showing. It won't let me zoom in here, but yeah, I can see it here. It says next week.
Wow.
So people were putting together these crazy conspiracy theories, because Kojima originally, before he left Konami.
This is so devious, the way that they did this.
Totally. Before he left Konami, he put out PT, and him and Guillermo del Toro and Norman Reedus were going to be doing Silent Hills, the sequel to the Silent Hill games.
Did you ever get a chance to play PT? I can't remember if you did or not.
I think I've told this story before. I downloaded it. I played a couple minutes of it, and then didn't have time to finish it. Mm-hmm. So I just turned it off, and then I never went back to it, and I deleted it. And then it was just a few days later, I heard about how awesome it was, and I went to download it. And at that point, they took it off. Even though I had previously downloaded it before, you couldn't re-download it. It was gone completely. So I never got to play it in its entirety originally. But I'm going to talk a little later in What You've Been Playing about how I actually just played it last night.
Oh, wow.
And I'll tell you how when we get to What You're Playing. But anyways, yeah, so obviously people are losing their minds. What? Konami owns the rights. How would Kojima work on it? Because he was working on it when he was part of Konami. He left Konami. There's no way they would let him do it. Maybe they worked some deal out to let him do it again, blah, blah, blah. Well, some of those hopes may or may not have been dashed with some news today. Still exciting news, but a little bit different than what people anticipated. And again, like I said, there's still a lot left to this week. Maybe something else comes later.
Sure.
But today, this comes from Engadget. Death Stranding comes to PC on June 2nd. So we already knew it was coming to PC. We got a release date now, June 2nd. You can play Death Stranding on PC. And there's actually some cool new features they added. They threw in a new photo mode, which surprisingly the original game didn't have, because like every PlayStation exclusive has a photo mode. Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Uncharted, Last of Us, everything has a photo mode because those games are so beautiful. Like people take snapshots, use as their background, phone wallpapers, everything. So PC will have a photo mode. It's going to have ultra wide monitor support and high frame rates. Where, because I think the console version was only like, I don't even think it was 60 frames. I think it was like 30 frames per second. But this will have the ability to do high frame rates on PC, like super powerful PCs, which I kind of almost want to see. Like I feel like I don't need to play the entire game from the beginning over again, but I would love to see how beautiful and how smooth it looks on a good PC. And then this is another piece of really cool content is somehow Kojima Productions made a deal with Valve, who is the maker of the Half-Life series, of Left 4 Dead. They make Steam on PC, like that whole store, all that stuff. There is going to be exclusive Valve Half-Life content. That's right. They're putting Half-Life in Death Stranding. So there's a picture here with Norman Reedus looking in the mirror, making a funny face, and he has a hat that looks like the head crab from Half-Life from the PC games. There's also, let's see, there's a couple different things there, like different hats, different outfits. I think at one point in the trailer, it shows like it looks like he has like a valve in the back of his head. Like you always see it in a Valve game. It's like a dude with like a spigot off the back of his head. Yeah, it's just kind of cool little Easter eggs.
Yeah, I gotta say, like thumbs up on Kojima Productions for trolling everybody.
Right. I mean, we'll see.
They knew what they were doing.
There's still more left in this week.
Sure.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I think that was it. I think it was just a tease but man, what a setup. Like imagine if it was, they came out and were like, hey, we made a deal with Konami and they're going to let us make Silent Hills. Like,
well,
man.
I got to tell you, as somebody who played the Silent Hill games, I really would love to see them be updated.
Oh, heck yeah.
I really would.
That'd be so amazing.
I have such fond memories of playing the games on PlayStation 2. And man, I could just only imagine with what they're able to do now. And I only saw a little brief video of what PT was, and it looked amazing.
Yeah.
For a little bit that I saw. So
pretty crazy. Yeah. What do you say we get into some new releases?
All right.
Yeah. So we just have one.
It's time for new releases? I mean, is that... Are we supposed to do it?
No, normally I just say it's get into new releases. And
I feel like we should have like a grandiose, big...
Give me something.
It's time for new releases.
It's time for new releases. There you go.
That was good.
The only one we have on the list this week is Bloodroots. This is on PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC. It came out February 28th. So I know I went first last week. I'm going to go first again this week because I'm selfish. Okay. I got to play Bloodroots. I actually hit up Pop Agenda, who is the marketing team. It's doing the PR for Bloodroots, and I was like, hey, can I get a code? And they sent me a Switch code.
Dude, you're like a mover and shaker now, man. You're in the background just making things happen.
We're the real deal.
Well, you are the real deal.
I'm the real deal.
I'm telling you, every time I turn around, you're like, oh yeah, I just got another code, and I'm now working alongside Microsoft. Every week. Every week there's something new, man.
Well, I like to keep you on your toes.
It's not hard to do.
And I like to keep you, the listener, entertained. But I got to play Bloodroots. I played the demo. Actually, they sent me a code a few months back of the demo. I loved it, had a blast, but it was just like a couple levels. Didn't get to play much. I jumped into the real game though. I think I'm pretty much done with Act 1. I think I'm right at the tail end of like the end of Act 1. And dude, this game is a lot of fun. It's really hard, but it's a blast. So essentially, you are this. You look like this, great. I think of Lewis and Clark, Great White North, Canadian kind of big mountain man looking character. I don't know. That's what he kind of looks like. He has a big old beard. He wears like a wolf skin hat, kind of deal. He wears all the furs and skins and stuff. And I think it's even developed by someone like this company up in northern Canada, if I remember right. And that's what the feel of it is like. Oh, okay, this is like a mountain man from, or like this harsh wilderness man
from the Yukon.
From the Yukon, yeah. And anyways, he gets, from what I can understand, is his team kind of goes behind his back, betrays him, kills him, and then starts kind of just wreaking havoc a little bit. Well, he comes back to life somehow. As far as I can tell, he's almost kind of like a revenant or something like that, or he has like this ability where he can just keep coming back to life. Even when he dies, he comes back from the dead. And the whole point of the game is just revenge. Like you're just going through and killing people, and it's like this really cartoony, kind of cool, like artsy, like cutesy art style. Not really cutesy, but it's like a really cool, like cartoony style. But then there's this like blood splatter all over as you're killing people, and this like. It's a very gory game. It's not like blood. It's not like guts and stuff, but it's very much just like animated, like blood spray everywhere. And you can pick up anything. So like, there's like a fence there. You like rip a fence post out of the ground. You're like beating people, picking up ladders, picking up axes, like machetes, swords, like whatever, wagon wheels. Cause it takes place it looks like, I don't know, 1800s or something like that. So he's like, you just rip a wheel off the wagon, like throw it like a Frisbee across the way and hit people with it. It's a lot of fun, but it's like almost like a puzzle game in a sense. I know that sounds weird, but you die with just one hit. Someone hits you once and you die. So it's very much as like very rhythmic and like a puzzle. Like, okay, I'm going to grab this and throw that. And I'm going to chuck this across the room. I'm going to run over here and beat this guy with a hammer. And then I'm going to jump. I'm going to tip a barrel over and ride on it because it'll like roll and you can run people over and kill them. Like I can hit these three people and kill them. I'm going to jump on that wagon and ride that down the hill. And I'm going to do this. And like, it's basically a game about combos. Like think like Tony Hawk Pro Skater or like any of those other, like this, I don't know, combo based like combat games too. Like
listeners,
Marvel.
If any of you guys are listening right now and you heard him describe how he plays the game, I want you to rewind for just a moment, look at his face and watch him. And watch the utter weird joy that was coming out of his eyes when he was talking about beating people to death with a hammer, when he was talking about rolling over them or chucking things and decapitating them. He had like a really eerie look in his eye.
It's a lot of fun.
It was like super sad.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm kind of worried about you, and I think you need some therapy.
I really enjoy the game. It's really good. I think you should all go check it out. It's on Switch, PC, and PS4. It's really good. Blood Roots. Go check that one out. Also thank you so much to Pop and Jenna for hooking me up with that code. I'm loving it, and I can't wait to talk about more of it as I get farther into it.
Sweet.
I played more Hunt Showdown, obviously, with Derek Peterson. Good old Derek. He's obsessed with the game. I'm obsessed with the game. We are getting really good at it. Like
everybody started calling him DP, by the way.
DP? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool. Good to know. We're getting really good. Like it's to the point where the other night we played like 5 rounds and we won 3 out of the 5 rounds. I think it's a really hard game. And I even told Derek, I'm like, I never thought I'd get good at this game. It's really freaking hard.
I remember now because I saw this online. Guys, they're playing with 10-year-olds. And he and Derek together are a formidable duo. They are a really good duo when it comes to beating up preteens.
This game's, like I talked about last week, this game's rated M. There's no preteens playing this. It's the law. It's against the law for preteens.
I'm pretty sure you told me that you guys were beating up 11-year-olds. That's Garrett. Why? Okay. Honesty, buddy. Remember that's our policy on the show now. Honesty.
You're right.
It's on all of our letterheads. It says Super Gamer Boys, and underneath, honesty.
I know. I put that there.
I know, and I kind of was a little offended. I was like, what the hell is that
about? But yeah, still playing that, still loving that. We're getting really good. We're getting really high level.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I'd stick with a multiplayer game for so long. I'm like, oh, I'm in. I like this.
Yeah.
Quick one, 2 Point Hospital. So it's a remake of like an old PC game. I think it was called Theme Hospital back in the day, which was basically just a hospital tycoon game, like but kind of like cartoony, like a silly one. Well, they remade it this last year. I think it just came out actually this last week. So it's just came out. But it's on Game Pass for Xbox and PC. And it's just like a hospital tycoon game, but it's so like fun and goofy and silly. Like some of the diseases, I pulled up a tab here so I could read you some of the diseases I have. There's one called 8-bitten, which is just like, you know, the person gets bit by something, but the side effect is, or the symptom is they start turning like, they look like an 8-bit character. There's people who like, you can get the emperor complex, and you know it's a disease that can only be healed by going to the psychiatrist, talking with, you know, the doctor, but they walk into the hospital and they're like buck naked, just like totally, you know, the emperor's new clothes kind of thing. You can get grout, which is by, you know, it's basically by I think it's something to do with like touching dirty toilets and sinks and stuff like that, and it can only be gotten rid of like with a chisel and screwdriver, like a lot of scraping. Like it's just like super like a lightheadedness. Yeah, like someone comes in like, oh, I got lightheadedness, but they literally have like a big light bulb for a head. So that's the type of silliness that we're dealing with here. Yeah, a lot of puns and stupid stuff like that.
Now there's anything wrong with it.
This guy here has a chest infection, and he's a clown. You know. That type of thing. It's super silly, super fun. But growing up, I loved the Zoo Tycoon games. I had those on PC. Like when I was your son's age, for hours, I'd sit on the computer and build zoos. My favorite thing that was to do is make this huge enclosure full of lions. And then I would delete part of the fence and the lions would get loose and eat everyone. You know, that was a fun thing to do.
You sound like the saddest little boy of all time.
You know you would have done the same thing. You know you would have done the same thing.
No, I really don't think so. I played outside.
Put bears and lions and tigers all in the same cage and watch them fight. Like it was the best. Yeah.
Well, that does sound kind of intriguing. I know lions would win though. So
against a bear, no way.
No, I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, so that's a fun one. It's on Game Pass, so it's free. If you have Game Pass, go check it out. It's a blast. And then the last thing I mentioned, I played PT. I played PT through the newest title exclusive to the PS4 by the Media Molecule team called Dreams. That's right. Someone completely remade PT in Dreams.
You're kidding.
100% truthful.
And it's like accurate.
So graphics wise, it's really dang good. I should show you a video of it. Like it doesn't look as good as obviously what Kojima was able to do with the Fox engine and with Konami budget. But I was surprised at how good it looks. And I tell you what, I tweeted about it last night. I think I even said, like, I've never been so close to pissing my pants playing a game. It's terrifying. Like, it scared the crap out of me. And that's even like, yeah, it doesn't have the greatest graphics, but they nailed a remake of PT essentially in Dreams so well.
I'm curious because I haven't watched the whole thing on PT, but I do, like I said earlier, very reminiscent of the early Silent Hill games on PlayStation 2. And one of the things was graphically, they weren't able to do much. So they used fog to cover up the fact that they didn't do all the finishing touches on these monsters. And it actually added a lot to the fear
in the original,
of the original game. It really did. Are things like that used, like visual aids like that? I mean, or is it like...
I know you haven't necessarily played PT and you haven't seen too much of it. The whole PT demo just took place in one hallway. The idea was you'd go down the hall. It was like an L shape. You'd go down the hall, turn around the corner, go down. There'd be a door open. You're like, okay, that's weird. You go through the door. You open the door would shut behind you, and you turn around and look, and you're back at the beginning of the hall again. It's just an endless loop. You just keep going through this hallway over and over and over and over again. And every time you go through, something else a little different, something happens. You see something, this happens. Oh, now it's back to normal. Everything's back to normal now. You go through and like, oh, this is weird. Like everything's fine. And then you start hearing noises, you start seeing stuff. And it's so terrifying. Like one point I was playing last night and I literally like, nope. I like threw my controller down and it was like straight up. It was just like, but like, obviously I can't do it here because the table's in the way. It wasn't just me standing up. Like I shot up. I jumped. I was like, holy crap. Like I threw the controller down.
Oh,
like,
wow.
It was one of those things where like I was reclining back on the couch playing, like one of these, stick my legs out, like playing controller on my stomach. And I was immediately just like sit straight up, like, oh my gosh, like so tense. Literally, like,
that's awesome.
To the point where like I was like, I don't even want to watch anymore. Like I want to finish this, but I can't look because it was freaking me out so bad.
Wow.
And then it gets to a point too where it caught you so off guard those like 2 or 3 times. The rest of the time you're just on edge. You're just waiting. You're like, is it going to happen again? Is it going to happen again? And it's just like, man, they did such a good job. And this is in Dreams. Like someone recreated this in Dreams. Mm-hmm. So I really like want you to play it.
Yeah, I definitely want to play it. It sounds awesome.
I was surprised. Obviously, like I said earlier, I didn't get to play the original, but I've watched like a full like YouTube video of it, someone playing through it and all that stuff. And yeah, it's crazy. I was surprised. I was shocked. I was like, this is really dang good. Like so good I had to tweet about it. And the guy like retweeted me and was just like, yeah, like super happy I enjoyed it and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
It's a good one. So if you're looking for it, I think it's called PT. And then like if you have Dreams, search for PT and then like in parentheses, I think it says 1.04, which is a version number. So like the guy is actively updating it. Like he's actually added stuff and updated it. He's added like endings and stuff like that. Cool. So go follow that creator. I forget his name. I should have wrote it down. But yeah, definitely go check that out on Dreams. It's good.
Very cool.
So that's what I've been playing.
Right on. Well, what I've been playing is, okay, so sometimes when you're driving around doing pest control, you sometimes will see things on the side of the road that people are getting rid of for free, right? And normally you just kind of look over and you drive away. 2 weeks ago, I ended up stopping because I looked over and saw what I thought were 2 gaming chairs sitting outside of someone's house. What it was
you're a pest control technician. You know better than to pick up garbage on the side of the road.
What
it's
it
always
was
full of roaches.
Was 2 Corvette bucket seats.
What?
Beautiful seats.
Man, that's awesome.
Yes. So I was like, oh no way. These would be perfect gaming chairs for my son's room.
Easy, yeah.
So I grabbed them and brought them to the house.
Weld up a metal frame or something?
I haven't done that yet, but I'll tell you what. I took them to my boy's room. He fell in love with them. I sat him down. I sat in one while he sat in the other. So comfortable. It was like, this is awesome. It's like being in a race car, in my house.
Oh, dude. We should make a whole gaming setup rig for playing like Gran Turismo with one.
That would be awesome.
Like mount a TV screen to something and like put the seat in there and buy one of the steering wheels.
That would be amazing. So then ended up taking and he put his Switch. Recently he got signed up for Nintendo Online. And so he goes, Dad, I want to play Super Mario Brothers 3. So this week we've been playing through Super Mario Brothers 3, sitting in those sweet chairs and having the time of our lives.
That's awesome.
It's been retro week, big time, because playing Super Mario Brothers 3, it's still an amazingly fun game. If you haven't played it in a while, it's still great. It's still fun, and it's neat to watch him go, hey, Dad, did you know there's a secret over here? Yeah, I knew that. No, you didn't. No, I did.
I found that secret. I'm the one who created the secret.
I played that thing like, 20 plus years ago, dude, back in like 88, okay? And he's like, no, you didn't.
That was like 30 years ago now.
Shut up, Garrett.
Just saying.
Yeah, well, I remember when it came out, okay? It was in the movie The Wizard. Right. But no, absolutely amazing game. Having so much fun getting to play it with my son and to be able to sit in those sweet chairs. And I'll tell you what, like, I'm surprised by how comfortable they are. I'm like, I could totally fall asleep sitting in these things. Yeah. It's like amazing. So
I'm not joking. Like, I'll figure out a way. I'll help you. Like if we want to make like a racing setup, like that'd be so cool.
It would be awesome.
That'd be amazing. Awesome. Like I have a couple buddies who have welding stuff. That'd be so cool to like get something together and have a whole rig.
I was thinking because right now they're just sitting on the ground on his carpet, and I was thinking like I gotta figure out like a box situation, but they're really sturdy. They're not they're not falling over or anything. But I figure I got to do something to make them a little more solid. Maybe put a little base on them so they kind of lift them up the ground a little bit, and stuff like that. So
like get a foot or two off the ground. Yeah.
Right.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah. There's a lot of cool games on the classic, like the Nintendo Classic stuff on Switch.
Mhm.
Like, because they have like all the NES classics, they have some Super Nintendo classics. Not as many. I'm surprised they're missing some like really big games for Super Nintendo. I wish they had on there, but
Like Paperboy.
no. I was thinking more like Donkey Kong Country. Like, why isn't that on there?
That's not on the Super Nintendo version? Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
I mean, it was on the Super Nintendo Classic, like the mini.
Yeah, which I have.
But they didn't bring it over to the Switch for the class, which is so crazy to me. And there's just a couple other games I'm like, I wish that was on there. But yeah. Anything else?
Nope. That's been the only thing that I've been playing. I played about 2 minutes of Far Cry 5, and that was it. It was just
that's a game where 2 minutes doesn't really do
it
much.
does,
That's
and I didn't
time
do
to, like,
anything.
Reload your gun and
I died.
steal a
It
four-wheeler.
might have been 5 minutes. I died a couple of times, and people were walking in and out of the room, and I'm like, was choosing the wrong time to try to play it, So I'm like, okay, and then I have to put the headset on so nobody can like hear, any of the shooting and everything, and then it becomes a situation where I can't hear them when they're like, "Hey, Dad," so I'm just like, okay, you know what? Not right for me to play this right now. So Super Mario Brothers 3 was it, and I'm actually really excited to continue that with Lee and play some of those older games. And as a matter of fact, he and I just talked this week. It's in the early planning stages right now because he's such a gamer. He'd really like for us to create our own content, doing some streaming at some point on Twitch and possibly on YouTube as well, where it's just like kind of a father-son thing of us playing. And I figured, why not take him through a lot of the old classics, So I don't want to be playing Fortnite with him because I'm so good and then he will never want to play.
Right.
Did that even sound halfway believable?
No, not at all.
Okay,
not at all. Alrighty. Well, it's time for the topic of the show, or also known as question of the show. This question comes from the Discord, actually. Our buddy Dustin over there, our Patreon sponsor, actually, wrote in a question, excuse me, a while back. He might not even remember he wrote it, but it was, here we go. What do you guys think the odds of a new, more powerful Nintendo Switch coming out in the next year or two are? So I know this may seem like a given or like kind of a simple question to some people, but it's
actually a good question.
This is something that
we've debated it.
Everyone has been debating and speculating since. I mean, I remember when we first started the podcast, like November, December of 2018.
This is when the first Switch Lite stuff came out. And then they were also talking about Pro model.
Articles were coming out and they're like, ooh, there could be a Lite model. Oh, and it sounds like too, this summer there's going to be a Pro model. Everyone thought summer of 2019 there's going to be a Pro model. Turned out there's nothing. Yeah. So it was just like everyone was like, oh, pretty sure on the Lite one. And I mean, people were pretty sure on the Pro model too. It's crazy that we haven't heard or seen anything about that yet. So do we actually think that's even something on Nintendo's radar, or are they so far like doing their own thing? Because that's what Nintendo does. Like, are they so far doing their own thing that maybe they don't even care about having more power because they're able to do a lot with what they have?
I think that they're leaving a lot on the table if that's the case. But I actually just saw an article. I didn't read it, but I saw an article that was out just 2 or 3 days ago that said that the Pro model was back on. So this was just a few days ago that I saw it run across my desk. And by desk, I mean my phone while I was sitting on the toilet while I was at work. Is that code enough? Did you get like a mental picture of me sitting on the pot with my clothes down at my ankles?
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
So, I mean, again, it's not anything that they've come out and directly said, hey, we are doing a Pro model that's going to be super updated. It's something that's been rumored and stuff, but I think for sure, they're going to do it within the next year or two. I could see it definitely happening.
Yeah. I was looking for maybe the article that you read. The only articles I'm finding are just saying that Nintendo's confirmed, which I think we already talked about in an earlier show. They confirmed that there is no console coming out this year. But again, they're not talking about anything else. But
I'd have to look. I don't know. I can't remember where the site was, but I saw it come across my Google. Google sometimes has ads based on what you read typically and stuff like that. And it was one of the articles that jumped up as a potential reading source was the Pro Switch back on. And I just didn't take the time to read it.
Maybe someone found a patent or something. Maybe that was interesting. But
again, it comes back to one of the things you said, that a lot of those companies will go and patent things like Sony, like PlayStation, with some of the haptic features where they're like, hey, we better, we might never use this.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and go get a patent on it right now. And then they could, if they don't use it, but somebody else wants to, they might be able to make some coin off of it.
Right. Yeah. So my, hang on, I just want to look up something real quick. Yeah, that's what I thought.
As somebody who
tomorrow, I just realized this. Tomorrow, March 3rd, is the 3rd birthday of the Nintendo Switch.
Oh wow!
Happy birthday, Nintendo Switch. With that to say, I completely think I'm 100% in that. I think they do make a Pro model. It's definitely not this year because they've said they've said that. They're like, it's not this year. But yeah, is it early 2021?
Mm-hmm.
I think I could totally see that. I think I could see early 2021. I don't know, because you just think about. I guess it depends on their how they view the Nintendo Switch.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction based on that. And it has a lot to do with the Pro model, but I think that the Nintendo Switch itself, the regular model that we have, has sold so well, like so ridiculously well. And I think it's going to continue to sell well. I could absolutely see it being a situation where it outsells PS4 in the future. I know that PS4 is, I just guarantee that I think that they probably have the closest chance of being the console that's in everybody's hands.
Yeah, no, totally. Let's see. What I was going to say was it depends on how they view the Nintendo Switch, because obviously if they view it as a console, then like we've seen with every other console, they come out with one version and that's it. Like they come out, put out the Wii, and that's it. They put out the GameCube, that's it. They put out the N64, that's it. The Wii U, that's it. But if they view it as more of a handheld, which technically, that's the thing. Like they go back and forth with how they view it. Sometimes some of their marketing materials, it's like it's a console. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's not a console, it's a handheld. If they view it more like a handheld, if you look at like the 3DS, they had a new SKU of the 3DS every year and a half or something. They had like the 3DS and the new 3DS and the 3DS Lite and the new 2DS and the new 2DS XL and all these things, and 3DS XL and the new 3DS XL. Like they kept adding modifiers to it. And like every like couple of years they had a new handheld device. So I'm actually almost surprised they haven't come out with one sooner. But I don't know, because if they view it as a console, I almost, as much as I don't like it, I could almost see them not coming out with a new version, having a Pro model. Didn't
they just come out with a version 6 months ago, or maybe a little more?
The light version. They came out with the light version.
No, but didn't they also come out with one that was going to have slightly better battery life on the regular version? And they were selling them.
Yes and no.
Okay.
So yes, but that's not technically a new version. They released it without telling anyone. The only people who knew about it is like you and me who read the news.
Right.
The point of that is to pretend
it's just taking over for where the Switch left off.
It's almost like when the PS4 came out. If you bought a PS4 on launch day, the top part of your PS4, that top plastic part was shiny, but then like 2 or 3 months later, if you got it, it was matte black. So it's a difference between like a launch model console, which like if you're one of the few lucky few or whatever, you can get a launch model, which honestly in the Switch version, it's better to get the other one because it's a better battery life. So you're right. Yeah. They kind of snuck a new version out there, but that's the only thing they changed was it just has better battery life. It doesn't have more power. So that doesn't count. We're talking about a whole new Pro model. Like
I'm curious because I know you have a Switch that you love very much that sometimes my son punks you for.
Yeah, right now he stole it from me actually, and he's adding all of his stupid little baby friends.
Yeah,
adding them.
He's crying about Fortnite and whatever in the other room or whatever. But but he has the regular Switch, and I know that we went to my brother's house and my nephew has a Switch Lite, and my son was like, "Dad, it's so tiny," and it's like, you were pretty close to getting that, you know. But having him have the Switch, he's very happy with it. There's no reason for us to upgrade. You have a Switch. I'm curious, does something like this entice somebody like you to say, I kind of want to get that upgraded version? It's going to be, you know, the Pro model or the slightly upgraded.
Totally. Yeah. If they came out with a Pro model of the Switch that had like better graphical power, better processing power, better battery life, whatever it is, I would 100% get it. I mean, that's when the PS4 Pro came out, like I was, you know, doing everything I could to get it as quickly as I possibly could.
You called up Grammy right away. Grammy, I love you, Grammy.
That's not what I did, but she did get it for me. But that's not what I did. That's not what I did.
Rest my case, Your Honor. I rest my case.
My goal with that, I was saving money for it, and she surprised me with it for Christmas. I've told the story before. Everyone knows. We don't need to beat a dead horse here.
Yes, we do.
But it was one of those things where, yeah, as soon as the PS4 Pro came out, I'm like, I need to save money for that. So that's why, like, you know, that's what I was doing. I was like, for Christmas, I'm going to take all my birthday money, all my Christmas money. I need to Switch Pro because, you know, I was already wanting to, I think I'd already got the 4K TV at that point. So I was just like, hey, I have a 4K TV. I want the best PS4 console out there. And like, as soon as I possibly could get it, I got it. I would do this 100% the same thing with the Switch. Like if I can have the best graphics, like I want to use my TV to its fullest, and I want to experience games to their fullest. Like if there's someplace they're better, of course I want to play them there. Like that's why even like I was talking about Death Stranding earlier. Like, as much as I don't need to buy a second copy for PC, it's like, oh man, I really want to see how it runs on a really good PC with a high frame rate and stuff too. Like I'm definitely not going to buy it. Maybe I can convince a buddy to buy it or something, but yeah, like I just love seeing that.
Yeah, you always want to see it and upgrade it. See, we're definitely a Sony family. We've got right now 2 PlayStations in our house, one in my oldest daughter's room and then one in our living room. And when I get the PS5, because I'm gonna get the PS5, the idea was to move the PlayStation 4 from the living room into the kids' room so they could use it in there as well as a media player, but also be able to play games in there. But there is a part of me that's honestly contemplating, hey, do I go ahead and throw the $300 down on an Xbox One X and put that in the center room?
A week ago, they were on sale for like $250.
Wow. See, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah. I saw it was through Google or straight through Microsoft? It was somewhere. I saw the link on GameSpot. GameSpot, a lot of times I get their emails. Not GameSpot, the news site. Yeah. They do like a deals of the week. And it was one of the articles in there. What was talking about? Like, hey, here you can get a 1X, the NBA 2K19 or 2K20 edition. So it has like a basketball game I don't care about.
Sure.
But for like $250, get an Xbox One X. Like that would have been insane. It's cheaper than a Nintendo Switch.
I wish you would have told me. I probably would have went for it at $250.
It's crazy. I can look and see if that deal's still available. It was just a few days ago. I saw it like 3 or 4 days ago. But yeah.
I'm almost curious because I feel like with us getting closer, I think it's going to come down even further. Like I think it'll be more randomly at $250.
Yes and no though, because the biggest thing Xbox is preaching right now is you don't. In my head, it seems like they're shooting themselves in the foot. But the big thing they're preaching with their next consoles is you don't need to buy the next console. All the games that are going to be great on the next console, you're going to be able to play on your Xbox One. So I feel like they're going to hold their price because there's no need to buy the Series X. And they still want to make money. So I feel like they're still going to, I think they'll keep their price for at least a good 6, 7, 8 months after, where normally it's like an immediate drop. I think they're going to hold their price a little longer than they normally would.
Again, keep in mind too that they haven't announced a price, and that's one of the reasons why PS5 hasn't announced a price. It's kind of like a holding pattern right now to find out, hey, where's the shoe going to drop? How much are we going to be able to charge this thing for? And what did PS5 say? They've got like almost $500 in parts, like $450 or something
just
like
in parts. It's like, that was the Xbox, wasn't it? No, that was PlayStation 5. Yeah, that was an article we did a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So $450 just in parts. It's like, what are they going to do? Are they going to take that big of a loss? Or?
Well, I'm going to put my money on that, not on the Pro model of the Switch. But Dustin, that is a great question. And if it does happen, what about you? What about you, listeners? Are you guys going to go for the Pro Switch model? Or are you going to hold out for that sweet, sweet PS5?
I want it to happen. I don't think it will, though. I don't know. I think Switch views this. I think Nintendo views the Switch too much like a console, and they don't really iterate too much on the consoles, other than obviously they did the Lite version. But I could see iterations of the Lite version because I think that's their quote-unquote handheld model now. So I don't think we get any more iterations on the Switch. I think I could see an iteration on the Lite, though.
So
which seems weird because it's like it's already Lite. What more do you add?
How old is Shep right now?
2.5.
So obviously he's still pretty young, but do you see yourself getting him as a starter, like a Switch Lite, for his own thing, for his own console?
100%. Like if he's interested in gaming at all, which I hope he is, he's my kid. If he's not,
it'll be forced on him.
If he's not, like, we're not gonna have anything in common. I'm just gonna disown him. I don't know what else to do with that. I'm an awkward guy as it is. I couldn't imagine not having anything in common with him either. I would own 100%, like, especially for the price point, like $200.
Yeah.
And well, when we were at GameSpot the other day, they actually had, this is the first time I've seen a Switch in person. Like normally they just have the normal big switches.
Yeah.
Well, at GameStop, we were out in Livermore. We went out there just to gotta hit up our Chick-fil-A. Here getting cravings, you know. And we're like, oh, let's stop at the mall and hang out a little bit, just walk around, see what's going on, see if there's anything we need to blow money on. And yeah, out front they had a Switch Lite that you could play, and I held it. I'm like, oh, this thing's like really cool. I actually like the size of it, like for portability and taking it places. And I like handed it to Shep, and it fits perfectly in his hands. Like he's 2.5 years old, and he was just like, he could reach everything, all the buttons, all
awesome.
Analog sticks. I'm like, oh man, yeah. When he gets a little older, like 100%, that's when I'm gonna get him.
And I just saw my first one yesterday as well at my brother's house. My nephew holding it, and like I was like, man, that would be kind of a perfect little size, and especially for portability. Yeah, for being able to carry around it. Obviously, it's not like the Game Boys of the past of you're throwing it in your back pocket, but with cargo pants being what they are, with the pocket sizes being what they are now, it does make it a lot easier to carry those things around. So if we were to get another Switch, I wouldn't be going for the Pro. It would more than likely be a Switch Lite. Yeah. Just so the other kids have something to play with when we're in the car.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Cool. Well, that's it for this show. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. If you haven't already, go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/supergamerboys. You can go over there and support us for just $1 a month. $1. That's, like a fifth of the price of your Starbucks coffee. And you can get all these episodes early. You can get shout outs on the show. You can get the show notes. You can contribute to what's going on. Not the $1 tier. The $1 tier, you just get episodes early. But there's other cool tiers that get you other cool perks. So go check those out. Support us over there. supergamerboys.com/store. You can get stickers over there. You can get T-shirts.
Sweet mug.
You can get mugs. Yeah, we both have our mugs today.
He's drinking some kind of a foul liquid.
Whiskey.
I don't know what it's horrible smelling. I'm drinking coffee like a man.
Moonshine. Like
Is
a
that
man.
what it was? It's just...
Yeah, I mean, I watched your eyebrows grow when you took a sniff of it.
It looked like it smells like turpentine, and it looks like something that like the cat peed out. You know?
If you haven't already, please, for the love of God, review us on iTunes. We've been at like 26 reviews. Was it 26? No, I don't even remember. I don't remember what number it is. We've been at the same number of reviews, though, for like a year. Please go over to iTunes. Drop us some reviews. I know we have a lot more listeners out there.
If you could take the few minutes to do that for us, it would greatly help, because the more iTunes reviews that there are, the more it's going to get into other people's hands. And then it might help us to grow this podcast, and then more and more sweet Patreon. And then, and then we'd be able to like play games more often and stuff like that. Because then I'll have a reason if I come home with like bundles of cash and I'm like, honey, I got to go back to the podcast and go, you know how the Patreon supporters are, so then but if I had like barrels and barrels of cash, it would really help.
It would be nice.
It really would be.
If you want to find us during the week, we have our website, supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys, facebook.com/supergamerboys. I am on Twitter over at @gmorlang.
I'm over at Twitter at JJ Purdom, and I'm hashtag Garrett's Nipples all over the place. It's a movement, folks.
Fortunately, you don't actually remember your Twitter login, so that hasn't happened.
No, I did forget it.
But I've been hot over there. I've been trying to be as active as possible on Twitter. I'm interacting with other podcasts and other people, and I tweeted the guy.
He's glad handing stuff. He's out there doing the work. He's LinkedIn all over the place.
100%. Whatever it takes to keep this show running.
And I'm like crazy on the Discord. I don't know if he mentioned it yet, but please go check us out on Discord. Super Gamer Boys is just blowing up on Discord, and we'd love for you, the listeners, to be a part of it because there's a lot of fun stuff and just great conversation. We talk about what you're playing, what you're watching. We've had some really cool opportunities for some of the listeners to tell us, hey, man, I checked this show out and I binged it on Netflix, or I binged this thing on CBS All Access. Check this out. And you know what? There's been some great stuff happening on there because of it.
And if you can't remember the links to any of these things we just talked about, I should mention this at the beginning of the show next week, maybe, because I think most people tune out by this point. Mm-hmm. But first thing next show, I'm going to remember to talk about all these links, all these things we talk about. They're in, if you listen to audio, look at the show description. All the links are there. Click on it, take you wherever you need to go. If you're on YouTube, right down there, you scroll down a little bit farther. Okay, right there. Yeah. All the links are right there for our merch, for our Patreon, for Discord, for everything. So go check that out.
Go down a little farther than that, just a smidge. Now, there's going to be an area where you can put comments on there, and you can comment with whatever you want, hopefully positive stuff. Please do so. And also, hit the like button and share us on YouTube. Share us if you're watching that YouTube
Smash that subscribe button.
Smash it. Just hit the crap out of it.
Thank you so much to Star Andrews for our logo. Check her out on Instagram at Ground Floor Graphics and Facebook.com/Ground Floor Graphics. We are finished.
All right, great, because I got to go home and go to bed. Garrett's fart is still emanating in here, and there's inches from me. There's a candle that is not doing that sucker justice. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am JJ Purdom, the actual king of this show. He might be the captain, but I'm like the king, and mostly because I wear a crown and have no pants on currently. It's hot in here.
It's distracting as well.
I don't wear underwear, Garrett, and I never will, because I'm not going to be held down by the man. Yeah. So I'm JJ Purdom, he's Garrett Morlang, and we are the Super Gamer Boys.
We'll catch you on the flippity flop.
Why do you always say that? What is the flippity flop? I don't know. Is that like a place that we go?
It's just a thing. Yeah.
I don't think it's a thing. I don't think it's a thing.
It's a thing.